So this was the big one. Wednesday's chance to go top of the table, albeit on goal difference, but nevertheless, psychologically, great opportunity for a Wednesday. Packed crowd at Hillsborough and Darren Moore last night urging the fans to get behind the team. In fact, threatening to sort them out if they didn't get behind the team.
And I'm glad that on this Friday I'm able to put this message out and say, like, if you're coming into the S6 and you're part of Sheffield Wednesday and you're mute tomorrow, I'll personally see you myself.
I love that. I love to see manager having a bit of banter with fans and press. Important message though that we were making. Vital that Wednesday got behind the team in this game, because huge stadium, and sometimes, as we all know, it can be quiet in there. It's a huge ground, and when everybody's not at it, it can echo and it can be very quiet. Every mistake can be highlighted and felt by the players with the silence at times, and we've got to accept that and hold his hands up to that. No problems today though. Rallying call for the manager, and everybody got behind the team. And how did that Wednesday team line up? Let's have a look. Wednesday made 4 changes for the visit at Plymouth this afternoon. The first change, Akinfenwa dropped out of the back 3. He picked up a bit of a hamstring pull against Fleetwood in the Cup. So Aidan Flint came in for his first start since he rejoined the club at centre half, right in the middle of that 3. George Byers came back into midfield for Jack Hunt. That meant a little bit of a shuffle. Byers into the midfield spot, and Callum Paterson, who played up front last week, dropping back into right wing back. A straight swap in midfield with Barry Bannan coming in for Dennis Adeniran, and a little shift up front. Michael Smith coming in for Malik Wilkes, but Josh Windass moving forward from his attacking midfield spot last week to a striking role, and Will Volks sitting there in front of the back 3. So the full team: Dawson in goal, back 3, Iorfa, Flint and Palmer, Paterson, Byers, Volks, Bannan and Johnson across the middle, Smith and Windass up top. As for the opposition, the league leaders before kick-off, how did they line up? Plymouth went with a 3-4-2-1, Wilson, Scar and Gillespie at the back, Edwards and Mumba the wing-backs, Houghton and Matete in the centre of the park, and Wright and Azaz charged with supporting Ben Wayne at centre-forward. Wayne up front, never heard of him, but if Cosgrove on the bench, a player I was quite worried about, but he'd been replaced. This Wayne's come in, apparently he's come off the bench the last few weeks and looked quite lively, so he got a start. But I can't read or read his name without one thing in my head. I know, I bet you're the same, aren't you? Every time I hear his name, that. So that's how the two teams lined up. The table beforehand, very tight, huge game. I can't emphasise how big a game this was this season. Before kick-off, this is how things look. Plymouth Argyle, top of the table, 28 games played, plus 22 goal difference and 61 points. Wednesday, 3 points behind. Game in hand, obviously the game against Cheltenham cancelled in the week. 29 goal difference, so a win today for Wednesday would see them joint on points, but going ahead on goal difference. Massive, massive game. Now obviously question marks about Wednesday's team. Firmao out injured, he pulled his hamstring, Flint in at centre half, and that meant a reshuffle to back 3. Palmer going out to left side centre half spot. I think it shows how well he's doing this season that he went there and nobody batted an eyelid. Oh yeah, Palmer will fill in there, no worries. I think that highlights how well he's doing, because he's been brilliant at right wing back, brilliant at right sided centre half, but left sided centre half today, sound. That shows how far he's come on this season. He's been fantastic. Paterson into right wing back spot. One or two people a little bit worried about that. I don't know why. I've been through stats. He's played over 150 games as a right winger and a right wing back in his career, so no problem there. Great game there last season. Right wing back against Sunderland at home. Again, that was a top end table clash, so no worries there. And in fact, 6 minutes in, dream start, Wednesday goal, and it's Paterson who scores. Usually Paterson's got a pretty long throw, but he puts it down, he let Volks have it, and Volks has also got a long throw, so we're expecting that. Everybody's piling it box. Volks takes a short one to George Byers, little 1-2. Volks sweeps it in, and who's there? Paterson. Gets there in front of his man, sweeps it home, keeper can't do it, low on near post. Absolute dream start for Wednesday. And proved that Darren Moore probably got it right in terms of the little shuffle that he did with the back three in the midfield. Actually, Paterson were a threat all through that first half, and I think it's his height. It gives Wednesday an out ball, it gives us that diagonal ball with his strength up there on that right hand side, and he was playing really advanced as a right wing back. But what it also did is, when Wednesday were attacking down the left with Marvin Johnson, Paterson was getting in and making a three. Right wing back, but he's making a three with strikers, and again, because he's got that height and that physicality, he keeps centre halves busy. And that was something that Wednesday were looking to do all through that first half, getting Paterson in round back stick. And again, as I said, we were trying to play it front back, but when we weren't, we'd always got that big out ball to Paterson on the right hand side. Something that he did brilliantly actually at Rotherham last season away. 14 minutes in there to make a change, big blow for them. Scar had to come off at centre half. He was replaced by Longwick. Big blow for them at the back. Top of table class, you want all your best players involved, both teams, so a huge blow for him to have to go off. And they had a further blow 10 minutes later when their highly rated keeper Cooper went off. Played every game this season. Long ball into box. He went up with Windass, they both go up, and I don't know what he's done. He's landed funny, but he was down for 5 or 6 minutes, clearly in discomfort there. Poor lad, you've got a feel for him. Their reserve keeper come on now, and he were actually very good. Keepers, in terms of warm-up, sub-keeper, you're not expecting to do it, were you? Just a weekend away. So, a bit of a shock for him, I think, to come, but he did well. It's a real good game of football. It makes a change, and I talk week after week when I do these reviews how you get sick, especially at Hillsborough, if teams come in and they set up the stall and it's horrible. Every week it's horrible. With Fleetwood, Accrington, Gillingham last season, but absolutely horrific. Wickham as well. And obviously teams have got to do what they can do to get a result. But it was just nice as a spectacle to have a team that came and played football and had a go at it. And to be fair to Plymouth, Wednesday were putting them under pressure, closing down. Windass, Paterson, Bannan, Byers, all closing down in there. And they stuck to their guns, Plymouth. They were still trying to play it out from back. I mean, at one bit, their keeper picks ball up in his own 6-yard box. That's how confident they were of doing it, even with Wednesday doing press. So, credit to Plymouth there. They got a way of playing and they carried on doing it, and it made for an open game of football, which is something we've been starved of with some of the teams that come rolling into town. About 20 minutes in, they've not really tested us that much. Dawson gets to a free kick. It's quite comfortable. It come from an incident on edge of box. One of their players had dribbled ball. He'd lost it. There could have been a foul there, but ref played advantage. And then old Matete, good player he is, by the way. He's had a very good game this afternoon, but he does an absolute Tom Daly off at top board to get free kick for that one. Unbelievable. Triple somersault job. Free kick. Dawson puts his wall there, stands on the other side, comfortable save. And that sounds really basic, but if you watch a lot of football, the number of times you see a keeper will place his wall, right, and then stand behind the fucking thing. Your wall's there to step out on that side, but Dawson gets his wall where he wants, and he goes to the other side, which is why he's got that comfortable save. You've got to do that. You've got to take the chance that wall's going to do its job, and otherwise you've got to scramble across. But a lot of them, they build a wall, then stand behind the bastard, and it just arrows in that corner. That didn't happen today because Dawson in right spot. From this brilliant thing from Matete. Gordon Bennett. The lad Burton, who's their substitute goalkeeper, comes off his line really smart. Lovely through ball from Palmer. Windass is through. We talk every week about his pace and getting him behind. Looks like he's in, but really smart save. He's off his line sharp. and it's not easy to be that switched on when you've come off bench, so that was a really good save from him. It's a good open half of football. Not that many chances. I would say Wednesday's edging it in terms of creating opportunities, but it's a good spectacle. They're having some good build-up play. Like I say, it's a really good game. Every time they put stuff in box, or every time they put a cross into box, or there's the kid on the right hand side, he's putting some good added balls in box. Aidan Flint is there, not had a lot of game time, but obviously with Mayo getting injured, he's had to come straight into the side in centre. He will head the ball for fun, and I love that. I love centre halves who head and kick and tackle. I'm very old fashioned, and he's done that today. He must have won 5 headers in first 10-15 minutes. No, I don't bother with stats that much, but usually at the end of a game some stats will come out and you'll see them on your Twitter or whatever. So-and-so's won most headers in a game today with 6. Always seems relatively low compared to what you remember watching. But Ariel Jules, 6-1, 6 headers won. He must have done that in first 10-15 minutes. Tremendous in air, and a threat at set pieces as well, a real threat when we're getting corners. Not that he could be a threat when he's wrestled to the floor and this referee doesn't see it. I'm not going to talk about referees. Just before half-time, George Byers booked, and that puts you on a bit of a knife edge then, because it's 1-0, Wednesday playing well, but Plymouth are still playing well, they're still a threat. And you need all your top players on park, so a bit of a worry then. And it's a tackle you don't have to make. Their kid's got ball, he's just knocking pass out, and he's personally not going anywhere. And George is in a good position, he could just angle him in, and he goes in a little bit late, but rightly so actually. I think probably one of the few things referee got right today. So Byers went in book, and then you're like, oh God, because you're worried then that he might need to make a tackle later and either don't do it, or if he gets it wrong again, he could be off. 8 minutes of injury time at the end of that first half, and that's when I thought Plymouth were just having that spell. Wednesday got a little bit scrappy, a little bit raggedy. That Matete, like I say, he's took that terrible dive after about half an hour, but what a good player he is. Tends to have that one move though, when he gets ball, starts heading down pitch, and then does a full loop-de-loop and then carries on running the same direction, almost on the same trajectory. Just runs and carries on. Seems to work. I've seen him actually on Football League show. Does it week in, week out. Just a little. If you just stood 2 yards off him, you could let him do his spin. He'd just run straight into you. Cheers. But yeah, he seems to fool a lot of players with that, and did it a couple of times to Wednesday today. Like I said, last 8 minutes of injury time they were, because obviously what happened with their keeper and Custard had been down. But yeah, a little bit raggedy towards break Wednesday. Seems to be a thing with halves today, because Wednesday started first half very brightly, obviously got that early goal. Started second half very brightly. Palmer, little 1-2, what a season he's having. I mean, he's right-footed, he's playing left-sided centre half. He marauds down, he's like a 1960s winger. He gets right to byline, manages to cut a ball back with his left foot as well, by the way. I couldn't really tell with angle. Paterson were coming in, and it looked like it hit post and then went out, so they took it away from him. But yeah, really positive start to second half from Wednesday. 2 minutes later, nailed on penalty for Flint. It's absolutely nailed on. Bannan comes to take it. Flint's it, but their kid's literally just hugging him round waist like that. He's just. And ref sees it, and we know he sees it because he goes and fucking tells him. He sees it and he goes, "What are you doing?" What? You've got your arms round him. Ooh. So he's seen it. Steps back out of box. He's got a good eye on things. Ball comes in again. Same thing. Wrestles him to the floor. Nailed on penalty. He don't see it then. In fact, not only does he not see it, he gives it all away. Don't know how. I said I weren't going to talk about him. It's every fucking week though, innit? They are shit at this level. 54 minutes, big blow for Wednesday. They've lost Scar, they've lost the keeper. Then Wednesday lose Paterson, who's been having a really effective game. It really has. The strength on that side shows a real physicality. He's been a threat coming in on set pieces. He scored the goal. And as I already mentioned, when the ball's down the other wing, he's getting in. He's almost making a third striker from wing-back. And it's actually at the other end, he's defending it. It's a ball over. He's in a bit of a foot race. I think it would actually offside anyway, but almost makes it needless. But he's getting back and suddenly pulls up hamstring, and straight away you know that's his game gone. And I'm gutted for him. I love Paterson, I really do. He's the sort of player that every team needs. He'd be my starting 11 every week, whatever it were. I just feel like you just need players like that who give their all. Because when there's lulls in games, and there is, you need that person who's got that spark and will drive you on, or will put a tackle in just to get crowd going. So gutted for Paterson. Jack couldn't come on to replace him. And he had a real I'm gutted for him. I'm really gutted for Pato. Bannan goes in book. Bannan goes in book. There's a cluster of 3 or 4 players. Ball's in there. Byers goes in to make tackle. Does he catch him? Does he not catch him? It's tight. There's a lot of ankles in there. It's probably one of them that could go either way. But ball pops out, goes to Bannan, and he plays a little ball down the line. Ref books him for kicking ball away. But he'd not blown a fucking whistle yet. If he free kick and then Baz twats ball away, oh, come here son, yellow card, fair enough, nobody argues with that. But it's a little tackle, ball squirms out, Baz plays pass, whistle goes, then he books him. It's a joke. And he was a joke. He managed mate down on near touchline. I'll come to him in a bit. Gillespie gets up with an header. I think he should probably do better. He's done well. That sails wide. And it's a good game of football in first half. I really enjoyed it. Second half, it's scrappier. There's a lot of tackles going in. And referee suddenly, he's blowing for out. He's making things up. Both ways, by the way, But, down on near touchline, Matete actually starts strangling George Byers. Do you know what I mean? It reminded me of Bart Simpson and Homer. You know what I mean? Ref don't see that anyway. They've brought Hardie on. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't start. He was one of the players I was worried about before kick-off. But obviously they decided to go with this Wayne. Little angle ball over. Hardie gets it. He lets it drop down. It's good centre forward play. Gets a nice angle. Leathers it with left foot. Can't keep it down, but a good opportunity for them. And they were turning it screw a little bit. They'd also brought that Cosgrove on, and he's another one. I was worried about him starting. I don't know if he's had a knock or whatever reason, but Schumacher left him out at starting 11. He come on in that second half, and he was making a difference. It was a right handful, and suddenly from first half I owe for Flint Palmer. They've got somebody to deal with who really puts them centre about a bit, and he was winning them free kicks, and he was popping up on left and right. I don't know what this Wayne has done that is in before Hardie or Cosgrove, but it must be something special, but I couldn't see it myself. 66 minutes, Johnson has a great chance. It's a ball of it. Looks like Smith lost it. Then it bounces up, but he puts pressure on the defender. Good centre forward play, and it comes off to the far side to Marv, and he can just take a touch and then put it in. He's got time to take a touch and put it in, but I don't know if it's pressure. I don't know if he thinks his man's come with him, but he hasn't. He's lost him, and he blazes it over. But in a way, I can't fault him for taking that on, because his record this season of slotting on them first time goals, he did one other week, did one against Portsmouth, controlled finish. So he's got a record of doing it, and he probably backed himself to do it again. But he just got time where I think he could have had that touch and probably put us 2-0 up. 70 odd minutes. 2-0 Wednesday. Oh no, it's not 2-0 Wednesday, is it? No. Because of 3rd Division VAR. Now, we don't have VAR in 3rd Division, do we? No, we don't. That is the realm of the Premier League. Now, down here it's proper football, where you get good refs and bad refs. Mainly bad. But they're honest mistakes, they're honest decisions, you know. There's no VAR. Apart from Liner, on front at South, he decides to do his own VAR, doesn't he? Little ball forward, Wilkes does fantastic. Drives on towards byline, gets it his man, cuts it back, and George Byers sweeps it home left foot, 2-0 Wednesday, absolute scenes. And then flag goes up. Now don't go up straight away, don't go up when the ball's played through to Wilkes. Don't go up when Byers shoots across and Gregory, if he were interfering, could have been off. No, don't go up then. Don't even go up when Wednesday celebrating. Now it's 2 minutes later when ball's been spotted back on centre circle. They're him down up front at South, he's sat there, daydreaming, probably thinking, I wonder if I'll ever get to Premier League, I'm still in 3rd Division here. And he'll be thinking to himself, oh, I'd love one of them tops with a little FIFA badge above me FA thing, oh, that'd be marvellous. And he's probably daydreaming about him saying, you know, big star at show on Matete, having his close-up as he stops the match and jogs off pitch to look at VAR camera at side at pitch. But he knows he's not going to get there, does he? And he wants his moment. So he's just stood there. And then he suddenly glances up and he thinks, oh, I'm at a big club here. They've got one of the tellies and they're replaying goal. And then he sees it and then he thinks, oh, this is my moment. And he sticks his flag up a full 2 minutes after. And even ref looks shocked. What? Offside. Offside. Are you sure? No. Yeah. Late flag? But yeah, well, I just want to make sure. Very late. Sure you weren't just watching it on big screen? No. Wanker. Looking back at it, was Gregory off? Well, no, because he's not in football, is he? And if Rashford, the other week, isn't off when he's running up and squared him to shoot it into the back of bleeding net, then he's certainly not off. We've got to get out of this division. If not for any other reason, then we can't have any of these clowns officiating. It's every bloody week. I've had better referees at Graves Park, Concord Park, all of it show than these. I do not know where they get them. I said I wasn't going to talk about them, didn't I? Coming into the last minute, Cosgrove does really well. Down right hand side in front at North, cuts inside, past first man, opens it up. We can get tighter to him. You know what he's going to do. And he kills a cracking left foot shot. And honestly, with weight we're going, Windsor was struggling just to get a foothold in that last 5-10 minutes of game. I thought it was going in. I'll be honest, I thought it was going in. Dawson's at absolutely full stretch, because just over at bar, and you're just like, fuck, you know. And the thing is, these are top for a reason, aren't they? They're top for a reason, because they keep going and they keep going, and they know how to nick points. Great effort from him. At the last 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes of injury time, obviously. Paterson were down, had to go for his hamstring. Their lad's been down. Bannan went down with his hamstring. I was like, Chicky, get off. And he's like, no, it's alright, I'll run it off. It's like, no, Baz, don't try and run a fucking hamstring off, whatever. Just been out for 3 weeks. So, 10 minutes injury time. It's so tense. It was so tense in there. And they're still coming. Plymouth. You've got to give him credit. Hardie, Cosgrove, they're an handful. And you just thought, with this loud goal, with them being where they are in table, being up there all year, never back down, never give in, this loud goal, 10 minutes injury time, you're just thinking, here we go. And you could just see, this being 1-1 and going home with, hey. But even though they couldn't get a foothold, even though they couldn't really win ball back, Wednesday were resolute. Flint, head on everything. Palmer, Iorford in there. Tough afternoon for them lads. They've done really well, got stuck in. And eventually, Wednesday, managed to get hold of possession, get it into the corner and try and eat some seconds up on there. They're getting a foothold, banging it back down pitch, trying to get something from it. Then we're up the other side, we're trying to get it in corners. I can't explain how tense it were. That second goal, I'd have just been like, yeah, okay. If they get one back at this stage, bit of a floodie for 10 minutes, but at 1-0, just like that. Anyway, eventually, that whistle goes, absolute celebrations all around Hillsborough. Both sets of, players give referee a bit of that because he's had an absolute stinker. Him and Liner. Massive 3 points. Like I said, because the Cheltenham game got cancelled, if we'd lost today, it could have been 6 points, and psychologically that can suddenly seem like a mountain to climb. So I were wanting us to come into this game after beating Cheltenham. I'd like us to have gone in this game level on points, and then if we had dipped, it would have only been 3 again. But as it's worked out, fantastic win for Wednesday, and psychologically a bit of an hammer blow for them, because now, albeit it's only on goal difference, but we're top for that first time. In fact, somebody told me today that if we did go top today, which we have, it's the first time we've topped a table since October 1990. Man of the match, few good performances. Nice to see Byers back in there, keeping things ticking. Baz showing his quality. I thought Windass were very busy. First half I thought were Wednesday's best half. I thought he were really busy. And Palmer again, another position filled and performed well. Paterson, he's another one. Where do you want me to play? I'll play there and I'll do a job. You can't have enough players like that. Him and Palmer this season, marvellous. But I think I'd probably have to get to Flint. I would. First half, open game. They didn't threaten us too much in terms of chances created, but when they did put stuff in box, he was in there. Ed. He's a right header at ball, him, and I love people who head ball. And second half, Cosgrove come on, Hardie come on, right handful. Especially that Cosgrove, he is a unit, him. I'm glad he didn't start. But again, stood up to the task. Ed, powerful tackle, block tackle, wrestling matches with him. Yeah, great to have him back, especially for Mayo injured. I hope we get some news on that in week. Hope it's just a slight strain. But with Wednesday, you never know, that could be a match for you. But yeah, definitely, man at match, Aidan Flint, marvellous centre half performance. Another clean sheet. Right, let's have a quick look at that table, shall we? Here's the table now as it stands. Sheffield Wednesday top, 61 points. Look at that, plus 30 goal difference. I mean, I don't really know how folks can mump about it this season. Plymouth, second place, 61 points also, but just the 21 goals there on the goal difference. And also Wednesday's got a game in hand on them there. And Ipswich, who only drew today. Big win there for Derby County against Morecambe, 5-0. That McGoldrick, maybe it's got to be 30 odd year old, 35, 36 year old. Hat-trick for him today. Bolton picking up a win, and Barnsley hanging in there in 6th spot. So there we have it, Wednesday, top of the table for the first time in however many years. Psychologically, will that give us a boost? Hopefully it will. Far from over though, plenty of games still to go. Derby sneaking up there. I think they've got the second best unbeaten run after Wednesday actually, and another good win for them today. So they're creeping it. They're the team to keep an eye out for, I think. But a lot of games to go. Still level on points to Plymouth. They've got a big game next week against Portsmouth. South Coast Derby. Bleeding miles away, but still. And Wednesday, of course, travelling to Ipswich. Tough game there. Third place Ipswich. Although, have they hit a bit of a wobble? They've brought a lot of players in Ipswich, a lot of players, and you're trying to bolster the squad, aren't you? We're thereabouts. A few more bodies of a line, and that'll get us here. But sometimes it works the other way. Sometimes you've got a good group and everything's all right. New faces can upset the apple cart. Not saying that's what's happened, but their form of late, little bit of a wobble. Let's hope that continues, especially next week when Wednesday roll into town. So, even if it is only for a week, got to be happy with that Wednesday, top of the table. Well done, the Wednesday lads, well done. Them Wednesday boys out there, marvellous. And what they don't know is them players. They don't realise how much they've affected my weekend, because not only am I delighted that we're topping table, not only that, but I promise myself that if the lads can get that position today, if they can get that top at table with a good win against Plymouth, then I'll treat myself. And so, thanks to them lads, Callum Paterson with his goal. I'm going to sit down now and enjoy it rest of the minute. I've got my son a brew, and thanks to the lads, I've treated myself, I've got an egg custard. Marvellous.